Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you happen to be new here, welcome to the Painted South. Spring is finally here. All of the flowering trees in our yard are in full bloom. On the sunny days, we've been outside working in our yard on drainage and landscaping. However, on rainy days, I've been staying inside working on projects. So today I thought I would share the painting process I used to paint the bunny planner in my last video. I had requests in the comments to do so, but I didn't have any video footage of that whole process. So I decided to paint another bunny that I also thrifted and share that paint tutorial with you. I'm going for a vintage look with an aged patina. I found this chef bunny at a thrift store for only $2. I didn't realize it had any value until I researched it online. It's from a company called Mud Pie, and it says Fleur de Lis 1999 on the base. He is missing a little cutting board and spreader. Because both of my project pieces were white to begin with, I had to coat them in a gray color. The other piece I ended up doing gray chalk paint, which works a lot better. This one is a light spray paint coat, which I don't recommend. Just use a gray coat to make it look like cement underneath, and that is your base coat. To start, we're going to use Dixie Belle paint in the color Coffee Bean and paint the base that he is sitting on. While I already have this color on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and darken the eyes just a little bit. I'm not going to even try to keep it in the lines. I'm just going to go ahead and put some dark in here because I'll be going over all of this anyway. I'm just going to kind of darken that really well. Well, I could have gotten a smaller brush, couldn't I? Looks like he has a black eye. These are obviously not good for detail work. Oh my goodness. He looks like an evil bunny rabbit. It's okay. We're going to fix it. It's fine. It's fine. The next base coat we're going to do on the bunny is his actual face, ears, hands, and feet, and I guess his little tail back here. Anything that's exposed fur. I think I'm going to start with this base coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. I did get this at Walmart. I'm sure you can order it online. I know we're all trying to stay at home right now, so any color brown is fine. If you want to do something similar, a similar look, I'm just going to start with a little lighter brown color than this coffee bean that I used on the base and in his eyes, which is a really, really, really dark brown. It's not black, but it is a really dark brown, almost black, called Coffee Bean, and it is the color of coffee bean. So we're going to use this on his fur. I did have to go ahead and switch brushes. The other one was, I just didn't have a lot of control over it because the bristles are long and flimsy, and it was about this long. So it's great to get in the deep areas underneath, but this one is just giving me a little bit more control. So I switched to this one. So here is how the bunny is looking so far. I really like the contrast that we're getting now between his chef's outfit and his actual fur. It's going to look great in the end. Don't worry that it's super messy. Right now we're just putting on a base coat of all of the areas that we want different colors on, so we're not worried about super detailed areas just yet. So that's what we have so far. And for his pants, I'm going to start with the base coat. Excuse the paint. I'm a messy painter, you guys. I have paint everywhere, which I love it. It's fine. I'm going to use this nautical. It's the only dark sort of denim type blue that I have. So we're going to use this as the base coat for his little pants. All right, we have a rough base coat on his little pants. And next I think I'm going to work on his shirt. I've been debating what color to paint his shirt, and I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of am leaning toward a lighter version of this. So I'll try it. This is Farm Fresh. I can always go back over it again. I'm either going to use this Farm Fresh or this crinoline color. It's sort of an off-white, but I don't know if that will be enough contrast to his apron, so I'm kind of leery about using that. But we're going for a colorful bunny that I'm only really going to have out at Easter time, as far as I know. So I'm thinking that this might be the color to go with his shirt. I can always lighten it just a tad, but we're going to have highlights and lowlights in the end anyway. So we're going to start with this color. It's kind of like a blue-green color. It's really pretty. So this is Debbie's DIY Diary paint. Sorry, Debbie's Design Diary DIY paints. Here's kind of what we have so far. Some of these little flecks are from the later color paint, but no worries, that will be hidden. So we have a base coat on his little seating area. We have a base coat on the fur, a base coat on his little pants. Shirt, we still need to do the bow tie. Not sure what color to do that. And all of this is still drying, so, and then we have his hat. I think next I am going to add, while this is still drying, I think I need to add a base coat on his little tie. And then I'm thinking about mixing this green color, Fancy Farm, to Farm Fresh, and making a little bit more of a blue-green color. Maybe even add a little bit of crinoline to lighten it up. And go ahead and put some more layers on his shirt. I don't want it one color, so I may do that as well. But first I'm going to start with going ahead and putting a base coat on his bow. And I'm thinking about using a yellow. Actually, I just found this moss green color. I might mix some of that because it's a little bit softer and add it to his shirt. I'll mix it with that original color and add that and do another layer. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just using an old butter lid to sort of use as my mixing palette. I do have art palettes, I promise. I just like to reuse things, and I'm using the rest of the butter container for my water to rinse my brushes. So you can get resourceful if you can't get out to the store or you don't have certain items. You just have to use what you have and go from there. Now I could just add just this green color, but I think, well, yeah, let's layer some of this on. Now I know to a lot of you this just looks like a super sloppy paint job, and well, that's what it looks like right now, but I promise it will look really nice in the end. We're just going for hints of the colors here. We're going to age this and distress it, so we want it to look like it has layers of old chippy paint on it. So we're going to start with these here. I'm sure I'm going to add more to the shirt. We also need to add some to the pants. So to add some more highlights and different shades to the pants, I'm just going to mix the original blue color and a little bit of this crinoline. Obviously, you can lighten your paint with whatever you have. I'm just trying to get a little bit different color of blue to go over top of this. So we have the start of our layers on his little clothes. We need to start doing that on his fur as well, but I need to get a base coat on his little bow tie. So I'm going to use Queen Bee by Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint. And it is a really bright yellow, but that's okay because everything will be dulled down and subdued later. So we're going to start with this as a base coat. He's kind of wet everywhere, so it's hard to find a place to hold him, but I want to keep moving on, so just try to be gentle and hold him where I can. Okay, everything is still drying, but I do want to go ahead because I'm impatient and get a base coat on here to hide this silvery mist looking color. So I do want this white, but I want some variation. I'm going to start with this crinoline color and then I'll go back with a bright white. So this is again a DIY paint from Debbie's Design Diary and the color is crinoline. Okay, I have just a little bit left of this truffle color, so I'm going to lighten it a little bit and add a layer to the bunny fur. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of crinoline, although I don't want it to turn gray. I did go in and add just a drop of this yellow to make sure that it got a little bit warmer. I wish I had a little bit of orange or a raw umber color to add to this, but let's see what we have here. So that's a little bit lighter. It will definitely show up against the regular truffle color. So we're going to add this as highlights, and I'll show you how that looks. To add highlights to the apron and chef's hat, I am going to use Linen White by Rust-Oleum in their chalk paint. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and sort of wet distress this just a little bit to blend the colors a tad, and then we'll probably add more paint, and then of course we're going to add glaze to this, and the glaze is what's going to bring it all together. If you happen to like the other bunny I painted in my last video, the glaze is really what made everything come together. So let's go ahead and we'll see how this wet distresses. Okay, so far I've gotten some of the paint to come off a little bit and reveal the plaster underneath. I got it to look a little tiny bit chippy. It came off a little too much right here on his face. I'm not liking how it's looking in some areas. So what I want to do is go ahead and put the glaze on it and see how that looks. I also need to touch up some of this, which that's sort of where I'm holding on to it, so that's gotten a mess. But I want to go ahead and put the glaze on it and see how I like it with that on. And then we will go from there with distressing and highlighting and so forth again. So I just want to see how it looks with the glaze on and see if it darkens it up enough for me and see how I like it. And as always, I'm using this Rust-Oleum Transformations Decorative Glaze. I have had this can forever. It lasts a really long time. I use it on all my projects. You can also water it down and make it a little bit thinner, which I might actually do for this bunny because I don't want it super, super dark on the white, but you can always just wipe it back off. I do want it to look antiqued though. So let's see. So I'm just going to, I just wet my brush and then I put a little bit of the glaze on there. Let's start at the back here. Yeah, see, that's really, really, really runny. Maybe a little too much water. But that's okay. We just want to kind of darken everything up and make it look old and aged and so forth. So we're just going to cover that. Then take our paper towel and wipe it down some. You can wipe off as much or as little as you want. Here is our bunny so far. I think he looks really cute. There's a few things obviously that still need done, and I can tweak on this a bit. I want his pants to be much darker, so I do have black DIY paint. It's called Little Black Dress. A quart of this is $33. I bought this for another project, but I'm going to go ahead and open it because I want to go in and darken his pants so they're a really deep dark blue-black, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I know this is technically for Easter and it should be light and fresh and all those things, but I'm not liking the pants being quite this light, not having as much dimension. So I'm going to add some black, and I can always paint over it if I don't like it. That's the great thing about paint. I tried several different ways to paint his eyes and I wasn't really happy with them, so I ended up going back with just a very simple distressed look. Since it was raining outside, I decided to just use Mod Podge as the top coat. You can use this to seal in your paint and it gives a nice finish. It does dull down a little bit even though it's a little shiny at first. And here is how our thrift store makeover painted bunny edition turned out. I did forget to show you that I added a little bit of light pink on the inside of his ears. There are so many ways to update and personalize thrift store finds or even existing items that you already have in your home. For now, Mr. Chef Bunny is going to hold these speckled eggs that fit perfectly where his cutting board should be. I'll probably switch the eggs out for a little basket, and I'll probably add a tiny handkerchief in his pocket where the spreader was. As always, I hope you really enjoyed this video and that you are inspired to pick up your paintbrushes and spend some of your time at home recreating home decor pieces that suit your current design style. I added a filter to these next two clips, and to me, it really made these look like they could be on the pages of a vintage children's book. Please like this video if you did, leave a comment below, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to click the notification bell and select the option All so you'll always know when I post a new video.